long, it's going to drop and rot.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get it just right, it comes off easy and it's sweet. Learn how to pick an apple when it's ripe.
Oh my God, you can apply that in so many places.
So many ways.
Oh my God. That's wonderful. So Bob, you mentioned that you came across Taoism through
Mhm.
your therapist.
Yes.
So how this introduction came about? Did he taught brought it up in one of the sessions?
Well, so I didn't know anything about this,
Okay.
and one day I go in and I have a really big decision to make, and I say, "What should I do? What should I do?" And I expected that he would give me some of that therapist talk, like, "Well, Bob, what do you think you should do?" You know. But instead, he picked up some coins and he shook the coins. He dropped them, 3 coins, and he started making some mathematical calculations. And he drew 6 lines, and then he pulled a book out and he looked at that pattern of lines and he turned it to a particular chapter. That was that number, and he showed me the chapter, and the name of the chapter was Retreat. And I had no idea what was going on. I thought that he had gone crazy, and I cursed him out. But that's exactly what I needed to do. I needed to pull back from a lot of behaviors that I had engaged in. And then I went back and I asked him, I said, "What's that?" And he said, "That is the I-Ching." Um, yeah, that's the I-Ching. It's a practice that teaches you these 64 different ways. Retreat was one of them. It's not an oracle. It's not a fortune telling device like tarot cards or anything like that. It's just a book that's full of wisdom. Let me tell you something here. Let me explain something. So you know this symbol, right?
That's the yin yang.
The yin yang, right?
Yes.
So what most people don't know about this is that the dark side here is yin, and this is yang.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, inside of yang, there's a dot of yin.
Yes.
And inside of yin, there's a dot of yang, right? Well, that's not a dot, it's a seed.
Okay.
And the seed will grow. And eventually, yin will take over yang, and yang will take over yin. So yin turns to yang, and yang turns to yin, which is a symbol of the way the universe cycles. Day turns to night, night turns to day, summer turns to winter, winter turns to summer. And in human behaviors, good times always turn to bad times, and bad times always turn to good times. And the proof of it is you've never had a good time that's lasted forever.
Hmm.
You've never had a bad time that's lasted forever. So when things are good, you got to be like a chipmunk and store away some nuts for when they go bad. And when things are bad, you have to learn to have patience and ride it out because they are going to get better. And once you begin to understand that all it is the cycle of life, it doesn't become so personal anymore. You rise above your thinking.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Oh my God, I have like my mind is blowing right now because that's a wonderful way of dealing with suffering because we are gonna suffer, right? I was talking with my dad the other day, like bad times they will always come. Like someone will die, unfortunately, or you might lose your job, or who knows?
Mhm.
Nobody knows, but things will happen. That's for sure. Life will throw things at you, and you need to adapt and you need to know how to handle things. And if you don't, you're gonna suffer and suffer and suffer and suffer and suffer. And from what I see, from what I understand, what you're bringing to us, Bob, is a way of suffering less. It's a way of becoming the water, right? Knowing how to
Right, right,
go with the flow
right,
and basically mastering life.
right, right. Well, if you think about what the best way to like kind of get your head around it is if you think of what the unskilled person does with good times and bad times,
They waste it?
right? Well, if it's a bad time, they start beating themselves up and they think it's never going to end, and they dig themselves more into a hole, and they almost keep the bad times there. If it's a skilled person, he's going to recognize that it's a bad time. He's going to conserve his energies. He's going to pull in. He's going to have patience. He's going to wait till things get better. Maybe it's not a time to buy that new car. Maybe it's not a time to do this. We'll conserve a little bit, pull in generally, save energy. If it's a good time, the unskilled person is going to go out and have dinners and just go, let's party, and just blow it all. Whereas the skilled person will blow some of it, but he'll hold back a little bit because he knows that it's not going to last forever.
Mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So you know, it's just a matter of how skilled you are at dealing with what life throws at you.
Could you give us examples on how you dealt with different situations in your life, maybe before and after learning about Taoism?
um, yeah. I have to think about particular examples, but what I'll say is that you get you get to just have a greater sense of being connected, because you are more attuned to the cycles of the world around you,